You know, SummerSlam is supposed to be the biggest party of the summer. Yet for this card, I'm only half feeling it, to be honest. When I look at the match card here, I see some matches that I'm looking forward to. But on the other hand, there's a few that are just a little puzzling to me at the same time. And we're still back to square one with the Universal title picture all over again. But we'll talk about that probably sooner than you think. I'm CoffeeLover239, and with me once again, as always, is Heathy. Say hi, Heathy.
Hey guys, great to be back.
It feels like longer, you know, because the last one we were on for was Extreme Rules, and that was like almost back in mid-July. Holy crap. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I mean, what the hell am I supposed to say? We're back to square one all over again. Stop me if you've heard this match title before. Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Yeah, you thought we were over with this fucking bullshit, weren't we? You thought, okay, maybe Lesnar finally, since he lost the belt at Mania, we can shoo him away and just be done with it. Just exile him from the world of wrestling forever, and no one will give a shit. Let's build this title back up and actually make it worth a damn. Well, you thought wrong, and so did I, and probably all of us here who are watching this and are in this call thought wrong. But guess what? Look at this shit. Okay, at WrestleMania 35, yeah, Seth Rollins became the Beast Slayer when he beat Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Lesnar then disappeared from television for several weeks before basically fucking ruining yet another pay-per-view ending. That's what he does best, you know, these days. Just ruins an ending. Like, you're having a good time, you're enjoying a pay-per-view, you think it's going one way, but then, oh hell no, you know who comes in and ruins your good time. He's like a buzzkill when it comes to these pay-per-view endings. I just hate it, you know? I really do. So, after... Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, apparently, even though that shouldn't have even been allowed, he somehow fucking won Money in the Bank this year, and he won the ladder match. Oh, God. And he looks scared on that fucking ladder. Yeah, and he got the briefcase when it should have went to someone else. They teased the cash-ins a few times, but nothing ever came of it. Until Extreme Rules after the main event. And he won back the Universal Championship right after Rollins had just retained the title. On the following night's Raw, Rollins won a cross-brand 10... Excuse me. Yeah, on the following night's Raw, Rollins won a cross-brand 10-man Battle Royale to earn a rematch against Lesnar at SummerSlam. Yeah, cross-brand, even though, yeah, Universal titles Raw, wildcard rule. Thank God it will be dead after SummerSlam. Anyways, during the Raw reunion on July 22nd, Lesnar's advocate and sort of the current head in charge of Raw, well, almost at the moment, Paul Heyman, stated that Lesnar cashed in on Rollins because Rollins did the same to Lesnar back at WrestleMania 31. Wait, how long has it been since 31? Let me see. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You're about 4 years too late on that, Beast and Paul and... Oh, I just hate this. Like, I literally... They've neutered Seth Rollins at this point. Like, they've screwed him up badly. Having him feud with just Corbin after feuding with AJ for so long was just frustrating as shit. And then, look, you run back to Brock fucking Lesnar. Like, and I mean what I said, too, about exiling him from wrestling. Like, even though supposedly he's been more active in this reign, like, I'm just over him at this point. It's like, can I just go back to the time when I was a kid when he gave a shit at least? Because at this point, I'm over him. Like, I don't care about him anymore. It's just, I can't get excited by him. Sans maybe the whole beatdown and stuff, but who's to say the match isn't going to be nothing but a whole bunch of just suplexes, maybe a little offense from Seth, but an F5 or two if necessary. Who do you think's going to win?
Here's the thing: if we knew at WrestleMania after Rollins defeated Lesnar that the rematch would be going down at SummerSlam, if I got told that at that point, I wouldn't be too mad about it. Even if the first month in, when Rollins and Styles had that match at Money in the Bank, I believe. I was still pretty on board with the Rollins title reign, but the last few months has really not helped Seth at all. I mean, from the feud with Corbin, him being the person that challenges Seth, to them having a feud that's going on maybe a month or two too long, and even Seth himself, when he opens his mouth a little bit too much, flying that WWE banner high and wide, Seth just does not help himself no matter what he says. He's come across as pretty unlikable in the last month or two, and it's just I don't think it's a good look for him to hold on to the title. And I don't think I can't see him beating Lesnar. I mean, on the other hand, you don't really want Lesnar with the title. Two evils, in my opinion, because I can see people, slowly turning towards a Lesnar victory. People want to see Lesnar just absolutely obliterate Rollins. I mean, I know in interviews and online, and even in kayfabe. I guess you could call interviews kayfabe, but even last week on Raw, when Rollins came down with a steel chair and he was bruised and battered, he came across as more stupid than brave. I'm hoping for a restart here. I mean, and bring Rollins back from this if win, because then it's just like, oh wow, we're just rehashing the WrestleMania storyline for SummerSlam, just like Ricochet, like Aleister Black, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, who could have realistically challenged for the title in this time frame. So I'm hoping that Brock absolutely annihilates Rollins, blood, and just be injured to the point of going to a local medical facility. Doesn't really stack up against the Beast, the Universal Champion. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar to retain.
The terminology is starting to rub off on you. I heard you go with local medical facility instead of hospital. Looking at this honestly, I feel like just defeated with this title at this point. And I've just hammered the point in about really the Universal title being the Brock Lesnar Memorial Belt. And I feel like it just needs to just disappear after all this shit. Maybe, because I keep hearing some rumors, like for Hell in a Cell, that they're advertising Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. And I heard that they want to move after Seth Rollins, that Drew McIntyre would be entering into the Universal title picture. And it'd probably be about goddamn time as well, given the fact that, I don't know, he should have been in the title picture even longer before this, instead of just being nothing more than a measly ass corporate stooge. Yeah, I hate the stooge garbage that they've done with him, but I keep hearing rumors that they're going to advertise that, and the thing is, Drew's still a heel, and Brock, I want to say he's a heel still, but with the way that they're booking him against this, and the way they go one more time every time he F5'd Rollins, I don't honestly know. But if they can't make face versus face fucking work like they failed at last year's Mania with AJ versus Shinsuke, what makes you think they'll do any better with heel versus heel? Or maybe that whole thing's just a load of crap and Drew will just keep pissing around in the mid-card. I don't want to choose, god damn it. Can't we just fucking... I'm baffled. Like, what... you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go with Brock Lesnar. And before we move into the next bit, I want to mention one thing. That there's gonna be, like, another goddamn live event, actually, that's coming my way, to my city, actually, next Saturday. And if Brock Lesnar still is the fucking Universal Champion by this point, I won't be going because, quite frankly, my money and time can be spent better. Maybe I'll still go to the Rumble because that's coming to my city as well, but shit, maybe not if Brock is champ. Well, I'd actually probably still see him there, but oh, I've had enough. Just go with Brock. Our next match is Becky Lynch versus Natalya in a submission match for the Raw Women's Championship. I almost forgot that detail there, actually, because it wasn't there before, but then they finally made it officially a submission match, and then I'm like, now things get interesting. Anyway, so on the July 15th episode of Raw, oh yeah, the one that had that we had that little infamous women's fatal 4-way that went on just a hair bit too long. And by a hair bit too long, I mean it should have only lasted about 10 minutes. Yeah, anyways, it was, or 15 at the most, given that it was an elimination match. And this was to determine the number 1 contender against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. And Natalya won by last eliminating Bliss. On July 29th, after Lynch's match, Natalya applied the sharpshooter on Lynch, and in a backstage segment, Natalya teased that their match should be a submission match instead. And on August 5th, their bout was finally made into a submission match. You know, actually, I have to say, I feel actually glad that we've moved on from you-know-who and that Natalya is getting a shot here, actually. At least, it's a nice fresh change-up, you know. It's just, it feels better. And the fact that it's a submission match as well makes it all the more interesting too, because I mean, we haven't really had, when's the last time we really had a dedicated submission match on like a WWE pay-per-view? The last I can think of was back in like, I think 2017 Extreme Rules, when it was Austin Aries versus Neville, I believe, and yeah, it was a submission match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Extreme Rules, and that was a fine match for what it was. Yeah, that was a fine match, except this time now it's Sharpshooter versus Disarmer. Heaty, who do you think's gonna win?
I wish I could share your excitement for the fact that this is not a normal match but a submission match. I mean, I probably would share it if not for the fact that both of these ladies have submissions as their main finisher, if only they're I can't see, even before this was announced as a submission match, I couldn't see this going any other way other than a tap out victory for one of these women. I don't know where Becky Lynch goes after this. I think it's fairly obvious she will win. I think that maybe it should have been someone else to get a shot at Becky. This whole, oh, we're in Canada, it doesn't really make up for the fact that Natalya's headlining one of the big 4 pay-per-views in 2019. She should have been doing this years ago. As for who wins Becky, maybe Ronda Rousey shows up. Who knows? This is something I have no idea what's going to happen afterwards. I don't think any one of these two are heel. I know Natalya's been putting on the sharpshooter and not letting go for maybe Becky comes out to save her friend who's trained her in the past. But yeah, I think it's a fairly one-way street as to who's going to walk out the victor. It's just about what happens after and how it sets up for the next pay-per-view Clash of the Champions, and potentially a long build up into WrestleMania if Ronda doesn't decide to come back. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident I'm going to go with Becky to win.
Well, I mean, it would have been nice for Natalya to have a run, and they have that chance to do it, even though they're in Toronto, Ontario, not Calgary, Alberta. Actually, that would probably make more sense for the win there, for be honest. And, excuse me. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah, I mean, they did manage to at least give her a little breathing room here, give Becky some breathing room after feuding with Lacey Evans for, again, what feels like longer. So, yeah, it would just... Yeah, it probably would just make sense. But it would be curious to see what would happen afterwards. Because, you look at the Raw women roster right now, and oh shit, it's not there actually. Oh yeah, there it is. I have to click here. Oops. Anyway, you look at the Raw women's roster, and like, what do we have, honestly, for Becky Lynch? I mean, you have Alicia Fox, but apparently she's supposedly quietly retired. Dana Brooke, they haven't done anything with that at all. Oh, nope, can't do Lacey Evans again. Naomi, well, Nia Jax is out due to knee injuries. Well, actually, more like ACL injuries. And who else? Yeah, well, Rousey's out, of course. Let's see, Ruby Riott, she's out at the moment for her shoulder surgery. Sarah Logan, we were actually talking about this before we went live and shared an article that apparently, sadly, Sarah Logan is one of the wrestlers Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about. And Sasha Banks is apparently still having some of those disputes. I don't know what's going on with that. And Tamina, no chance in hell. So yeah, they're gonna have to really up their game with the women's title picture after this. I'm going with Becky Lynch. Our next match is Bayley versus Ember Moon for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, it's about goddamn time Ember Moon got a shot at a title. I mean, it's only not like she's been on the main roster for almost what? Almost a whole year now at this point, really? It almost feels like it really here. Yeah, it was. It's been almost a whole year. And it's like only now is she getting a fucking title shot. Isn't that crazy? Where did the time go? Anyways, so on the July 16th episode of SmackDown, after SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and Ember Moon defeated Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, in a tag team match in which Moon scored the pin, Bayley selected Moon as the #1 contender for her title at SummerSlam. So yeah, there's not much build-up mentioned here, but I know both of these two are pretty good workhorses, and they've put on some pretty good matches, at least, like, with different opponents, but now they're facing off against each other, and probably feels like for the first time as well. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I don't know, there's not really much going on, is there? You mentioned a tag match, and then Bayley just, hey, you're here. I mean, this feels like one of the matches that will be perfect for the opener. I think it's just going to be an Ember Moon showcase. Whether she wins or not. I feel like they have been sleeping on her for quite a while now. I hope they have something fun or creative up their sleeves, or just give them maybe 10 or so minutes. I'm sure they can be afforded that. They're two of the best women wrestlers on the roster so far. This rivalry's been a bit weird. I mean, they've been attacking each other one week, helping each other out. I don't know where this is leading. I'm not sure if it's going to actually continue after SummerSlam. It feels like a one and done thing. I think that, I don't know. I think it's a filler. It's basically a filler since they want to get women on the show more. Since there was this revamp of the Give Women a Chance planned on Twitter a few weeks back. But as far as who wins, I think I'm going to play it safe and go for Bayley.
Well, as much as it probably would be nice for Ember Moon to go and win the title, actually, I kind of don't really kind of see it happening. Apparently, Vince McMahon didn't take too kindly to some comments as well that Ember Moon's husband said, apparently, after Nia Jax injured, like, someone. I don't remember when. Maybe it was when Nia Jax injured Becky Lynch in that Survivor Series build-up last year. I don't honestly remember. What I do remember, though, was the comment. It's like, hope this unsafe moron doesn't hurt my wife, or something like that. And apparently, old Voodoo Kid Mafia didn't take too kindly to that. No, Not at all. So, I don't know. Well, even putting that aside, I still don't see real. Even putting all that aside, I still probably think Bailey would win. I mean, you'd have to probably build it up. I mean, she's doing everything she can with the SmackDown Women's title, but it's kind of been an afterthought after everything as of late. But I don't know, really. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Bailey on this one. Next match we have is Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. On the July 23rd episode of SmackDown, WWE Champion Kofi Kingston selected Randy Orton as his SummerSlam opponent with his title on the line. Kingston referenced their past feud in 2009 when Kingston had defeated Orton, but Orton said Orton used his influence to keep Kingston out of the main event seat. Need we remind you of stupid, stupid, stupid? Yeah, that was... Ugh. And Orton said he was right that he held Kingston back and accepted the challenge. So, finally, as I had a feeling this was going to happen, and... Well, it's happening. Again, this isn't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. But even with that said, though, out of the way, I don't know. I mean... Now, Kofi's got a main eventer to go up against, and then he feels that if he defeats Randy, it'll be vindication for pretty much holding him back for feeling like you held him back for 10 years. And oh my god, I feel so old. Why are you guys doing this to me? Whatever. Oh, excuse me there. I'm expecting this to be a pretty good match. And yeah, Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I'm not sure if I'm in the minority or the majority here, but I absolutely love WWE harking back to this 2019 feud. Really feels like this match has been a decade in the making. Stupid storyline. They took something that was not part of kayfabe as essential was backstage politics coming to life in the essential of the ring, and they've managed to. It's been somehow malleable enough to mold it into something that's kayfabe appropriate. Norton has a tendency sometimes, if he's not feeling the match, he can phone it in. But I really feel like you said, this is going to be a good match. I mean, he acknowledges history, and it's something that both superstars have massive stock in. And this, a word that has been tossed around a lot recently has been the word vindication from Kofi Kingston, and he's still in storyline. Maybe in real life, echoing real life, Kofi feels like Randy Orton's been the one to hold him back from reaching that upper echelon to challenge for the WWE title. Whenever he's got it, it'll be to have Orton pin Kofi and sort of, have Orton be proven right that Kofi was never ready then and not ready now. Maybe I don't know, because where does Kofi go from here? I mean, he's beaten Joe. He's been good. He's been booked so well. He's beaten nearly everyone there is left to beat. But I think I'm gonna. This is one I don't really know necessarily who. I'm leaning towards Kofi Kingston, and just for the sake of going back to 10 years and really emphasising that Orton held him back, I'm going to go with heart to my mouth. I'm going to go with Kofi to retain.
Honestly, looking at this, if it's harder to tell, then you always have a feeling that there might be, or harder to choose. Chances are you feel like there could be some shenanigans, but I'm not really feeling that here for this one, though. But, I mean, yeah, when we look at the current SmackDown title picture as well, much like the Raw and much like the Raw women's scene, it's also a little weak, I suppose, here. Well, sort of. It doesn't really have to be weak, but you look at how some of this is actually going, and people who should be going for the title. I mean, Ali, wouldn't that be funny here to try to harken back to that, considering it probably would have been Ali in this spot right now had he not got injured. Aleister Black, but then again, it maybe may feel too soon, but honestly, we need to get him out of promo hell, purgatory hell. Yeah, Andrade, would be nice for him to go for the belt, perhaps, but I don't know about that. And looking other stuff, I'm not seeing too much that can really actually be done. I'm seeing talent that is probably getting wasted and thrown to the slaughter, and the rest that aren't already have matches going on here. So I guess I'm also kind of curious again about what happens after, much like the Raw Women's title picture as well. It's the after part that is more concerning. Anyways, yeah, I think it'd be better for Kofi here to win and pretty much prove Randy Orton wrong. Our next match is Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, where if Owens loses, he will be forced to quit WWE. What is it with him and these stupid stipulations? Last year, at least, you had him literally challenging Braun Strowman for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he would have actually won it if he beat Braun. And looking back, honestly, given what they did to poor Braun last year, I kind of wish they did that looking back, honestly. So they could have reformatted that whole shit. We wouldn't have probably had what happened at MITB, or at least, the course of things would be different. But no, look at this. Although maybe, just maybe, he might actually win. But let's get into how we came to this point. So during the summer of 2019, Kevin Owens pretty much became the voice of some of us frustrated fans here, more particularly with Shane McMahon, due to the latter taking up more and more screen time each week from other wrestlers and exerting even more authority, which was in contradiction to what the McMahon family had promised several months prior. Yeah, we know that all is a load of crap, but it's still true though about the whole thing of him taking up more and more time each week. And you look at how certain wrestlers were barely used. Hell, it's like only now do they have Buddy Murphy being used only to get pretty much squandered by Roman. That hurt, but that's beside the point. Anyways, despite Shane's attempts to ban Owens from SmackDown, Owens would nevertheless show up and attack Shane at opportune moments. During the Raw reunion on July 22nd, Owens challenged Shane to a match at SummerSlam and said he would quit WWE if he were to lose. And Shane accepted. So, hopefully from the looks of this, it seems like this should be the driving force to get Shane McMahon off TV, or at least reduce his presence very greatly. Because, yeah, a lot of those stars there that could be in big, important feuds, no, they're not. They're playing second fiddle to the product of Vince's semen. And I'm gonna keep saying that because it's ridiculous. Because his product is the best in the world. I still can't get over that. It only feels like yesterday when I was losing my mind over that, and I still can't even believe that happened. But thankfully, it seems like they've realized they've gone too far with Shane McMahon, and now it's time for Kevin Owens to put him in his place. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
Well, this whole storyline has basically just been Shane McMahon being on the show too much, involving himself in way too many segments, putting himself in the ring where he does not belong there. Not only according to Kevin Owens, but much to the opinion of the whole WWE universe. I think it's ironic that in the lead up to SummerSlam these last few weeks, Shane McMahon more and more sparingly than him being full time a few months back, which I think will be the perfect time for Shane McMahon to get rammed down our throats. So we're basically, frothing at the mouth at SummerSlam for Kevin Owens to beat the ever-loving crap out of Shane McMahon and, shut him up for good, hopefully. But the stipulation, if Kevin Owens loses, he quits WWE. I don't, and because Shane McMahon, there's no stipulation if he loses, he is to leave WWE. What I think we can see happening is a sort of Nexus John Cena storyline where if Barrett did not win the WWE title, Cena will get fired, and lo and behold, Barrett lost. Cena was fired, but he kept showing up week after week until he got his job back at Hell in a Cell. I think it was,
Yeah.
or it was a month after. Beside the point. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, Owens has got the stunner for Christ's sake. He's got the move that is best used on a authority figure in either Vince or Shane. There's a temptation inside of me to say that, and they drag this feud out until a Hell in a Cell, where McMahon's or he just leaves TV forever if he loses or whatever, something like that. But no, I'm going to go for what I want and what I think would be more logical, and that's for Kevin Owens to beat Shane McMahon, and maybe this feud gets carried out longer. I'm sick of seeing Shane on TV right now.
I think we're all pretty much sick of seeing Shane on TV at this point. Like, every time, like, he shows up, I always used to do, like, this certain bit here. Like, if any of you have seen this one funny Video Game Donkey's History of Video Games, and he does that little knack bit with Shane McMahon song. I used to do that shit all the time, but now it's, like, to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to hear his fucking theme anymore. I just like have to mute it. Oh god, excuse me. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know what happened. I'm still trying to get over this cough. But yeah, looking at this whole thing, I think this should just be it. They've had this gone on long enough with him, and quite frankly, yeah, it's best if we just Kevin Owens just win the damn match and just reduce Shane's presence greatly. Unless it's like a special event or something, like the recent Raw reunion they had. Yeah, just have Kevin Owens win and reduce Shane's presence on TV greatly. Please. Our next match is Finn Balor the Man versus Bray Wyatt the Fiend. The Fiend? What Fiend? Well, let me explain. Following the Superstar shakeup in April, Bray Wyatt, who actually, by the way, is on Raw, so wildcard bullshit still going, I guess they're really just trying to finish what they started about, I want to say 2 years back, was it? Almost, I want to say, when Balor and Wyatt were feuding. But yeah, actually they had a match at SummerSlam like a couple of years back, but it was the Demon, like, and yes, they dragged that feud on quite a bit too. There was like several pay-per-view matches, and like it was TLC actually, where it was supposed to be Pumpkin Demon versus Sister Abigail. Oh god, that was a dumpster fire. But unfortunately, Bray Wyatt was forced to pull out of the show because some of the locker room caught a bad case of meningitis. It also kind of torpedoed the main event because Roman Reigns went down with it. And so Kurt Angle took his place and teamed up with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose because it was going to be the Shield versus The Miz, Braun Strowman, Kane, and The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus in a 5-on-3 handicap TLC match. So yeah, that was weird and bizarre. And so I guess, and in that match, instead the Demon Balor faced AJ Styles in a match that probably actually turned out better than what we would have actually gotten at that point in time. And now I guess everything's coming full circle and they're going to try and finish what they started. So yeah, following the superstar shakeup in April, Bray Wyatt, who had been on hiatus since the previous summer, began appearing as an eerie children's entertainer in pre-taped segments called Firefly Funhouse. Basically a mix between Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, that is all. Anyways, he eventually revealed a new sinister alternate persona called The Fiend, and oh god, just thinking about that mask and it gives me goosebumps right now. Anyways, well, not a whole lot, but still enough. Anyways, after the wild card guest Finn Balor's match on the July 15th episode of Raw, the lights went out and Wyatt appeared as the Fiend and attacked Balor. The following week on SmackDown, Balor challenged Wyatt to a match at SummerSlam. Wyatt appeared inside the funhouse and said that he was a fan of Balor, but the Fiend was not, and the Fiend accepted the challenge. So they've really been building up the Fiend a whole lot, quite a bit. Like, he attacked several legends. Like, I know he attacked Mick Foley. Like, I believe with the Mandible Claw, no less. And he sort of adopted it as well, because he actually used it on the Go Home episode of Raw as well. Like, there was going to be a match between Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre, with Kurt Angle as the special guest referee, because we were in Pittsburgh for that Raw. But the match went to a no contest because the Fiend showed up out of nowhere and attacked Kurt Angle. So yeah, that Fiend is, oh boy, fucking terrifying. And all I can say is, rip your streak, Finn Balor, for SummerSlam. It was nice knowing it. I thought we could actually build it up for a bit, but nope. We're going to feed him to the Fiend, although I've heard he's going to take some time off after SummerSlam. And it's not the demon against the Fiend, rather, it's the man against the Fiend. So, yeah, Healy, who do you think's going to win?
I mean, demon versus Fiend, man versus Fiend, I think it's fairly obvious who's going to win. But, I mean, here's the thing. This exact match happened at this exact pay-per-view 2 years ago, but the hype for this match is infinitely more higher than the hype for the 2017 match. To quote The Office, "Howl the turntables." So there's no demons as of yet. I know that they've announced it late on in other pay-per-views. I like what they've been doing with the Fiends. I like the fact that he's been given creative freedom, or at least some sort, to be doing skits and promos and angles like this. I like the fact that he has hurt and heal on both of his gloves, and one goes to a mandible claw and one goes to Sister Abigail. I like the fact that the mandible claw itself has been passed down from Mick Foley to Bray Wyatt. I love everything about this character. My intrigue for this match is at an all-time high. I think I'm pretty safe in saying that Bray Wyatt wins. It's just how he wins the match. I mean, is it going to be a full-on squash match? Is it going to be back and forth? I think you need to build up Bray Wyatt. I mean, for all this hype, for all these promos, the Firefly Funhouse, the lights going out, the eerie music as Bray Wyatt chokes out his competition. I feel like this is a match that could do with being shortened. There's 10 matches on the card. Of course, there's a match going to pre-show, but still 9 matches on a card is still a bit long. So if any matches would get shortened, I wouldn't mind it being this one. Going off TV, I think it's written on the wall, so to speak. I think that so far to say how he's going to win. I think Bray Wyatt is going to win via mandible claw.
Well, I mean, I might as well go with that. I mean, you guys probably kind of already guessed it when I said rip Finn Balor's SummerSlam streak, because he had a little streak going, Balor did, for a while. Like back in 2016, he won the Universal title, only he got injured in the match and was forced to vacate it, and has kind of never re-entered the main event picture since. Well, he's never won a title in the main event, not counting any mid-card titles like his IC title run. Yeah, and then 2017, he beat Bray Wyatt, but it was regular old Wyatt family Wyatt, and he was the demon. And last year, You unleashed the demon on the constable, Baron Corbin. Ugh. Thank God Corbin's been away for a while. And the less said about that, the better. And now, like I said, the tables have turned. It's the man against the Fiend, and they need to make the Fiend look stronger, unfortunately. And, yeah, because if the Fiend were to lose, then all that build-up just, poof, gone. Just wasted here if he was to lose to Finn Balor. I feel like the Fiend is definitely going to be a major character going forward. And with him being on Raw, actually what I would like to see? I would like to see the Fiend pretty much scare the Beast shitless and actually be the true Beast Slayer. Eat your heart out, Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. So you know what? Sorry, Balor. Or then again, he wrestled as the Demon all of the time beforehand, and this is probably going to be the first SummerSlam where he wrestles as the Man and not the Demon King, so they may find some stupid loophole and just strike that match from the books and say, oh, no, didn't happen, not part of the Demon King SummerSlam streak, much like how they ignore the whole Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match from... What WrestleMania was that again? Was it Mania 9, I want to say? If I remember correctly. Yeah, and it was a disqualification, so they don't really bring that one up a whole lot when talking about Undertaker's streak. So you know what? They're probably going to do that there with the Demon King streak. And yes, I want Bray Wyatt will probably win this match here. And hopefully, I would like to see him get into the title picture because, quite frankly, he would be a better Universal Champion than Brock Lesnar ever was. Our next match is AJ Styles versus Ricochet for the United States Championship. I'm really disappointed with what they've been doing with the U.S. title as of late. Ever since around... I want to say WrestleMania. They've hot shot at that fucking title around quite a bit. I mean, you look at it here, and we scroll down to modern. I mean, let's see here. I mean, you look at this. Let's see. I want to say actually maybe almost around, I don't know, like Royal Rumble actually even they hot shotted it. Because Shinsuke won it at the Rumble, because he won it off Rusev, like, some random SmackDown episode. And then Shinsuke won it at the Royal Rumble, like, on the pre-show. But then, fucking 2 days later, R-Truth wins it from him. Yeah, R-Truth wins the belt from him. And then he has a somewhat decent reign. But then, Samoa Joe beats him for it on another SmackDown episode. Well, it was a fatal four-way with Andrade and Rey Mysterio. And then, like, the title became exclusive to Raw during the Superstar Shakeup. And you had that absolute fuckery that happened going into WrestleMania where Joe fucking, like... Yeah, or not in the WrestleMania, because Joe squashed Mania. But then Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank, that's when you had that whole stupid shit happen where, like, the referee botched, even though Joe's shoulder was completely off the mat, and, like, Ray ended up winning the title, but even though the match was way too damn short, and then, like, not long after, actually, or actually much longer than it should have been, 15 days, which is about 14 days too many, he still held the title, but ultimately... Ray voluntarily relinquished the title back to Joe due to Mysterio suffering a shoulder injury and the controversial way he won the match. And then, not long after, at Stomping Grounds, Ricochet won the fucking title, which, good for Ricochet, because I'm a big fan of him, and after he was called up, he gets a title so he can actually get a decent reign before going into the main event. Nope! At Extreme Rules, AJ Styles beats him after getting the fucking club back. Yeah. So yeah, Extreme Rules, AJ Styles defeats Ricochet to win the US title thanks to help from his OC teammates Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. And on the July 29th episode of Raw, Ricochet won a gauntlet match, defeating Mysterio, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Andrade to earn a rematch for the title at SummerSlam. It's like, even though he's still lost and they still say no automatic rematches, we'll find a way to loop around that bullshit by having the previous champion become the new number one contender. And you look at that gauntlet match, who should have actually been in there? Okay, the title's on Raw at this point, right? So you look at all the people in that gauntlet match, and who did we have? We had Ray. Well, he was on Raw, but he's mostly there for like the old guard to help with the younger guard. You look at Cesaro. He hadn't had a U.S. title reign in a long ass time. Like, not since after he debuted on the main roster around SummerSlam 2012. You look at Sami Zayn, who could benefit from a U.S. title reign, as he hasn't even held a fucking singles title at all since he was called up. And I am dead fucking serious. It's like, you look at this, it's like, oh my god, he's been on the main roster for almost, how long now? I'm trying to see here. Yeah, since like 2015. And like, he hasn't even 4 years and not a single goddamn title. And Andrade's on SmackDown, so fuck that wildcard garbage. I don't know. Look, I'm sure the match will still be good. The Stomping Grounds match was... Wait a minute. No. What was it there for Stomping Grounds? Who did he beat? God... Shit, my mind's escaping me now. Fa la la, you make my mind going crazy. Who did he beat? Oh yeah, it was Joe, because it's just... Yeah, dealing with the whole wild card nonsense, and not quite wild card, but just the way the title has been around here, it's been frustrating. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I mean, there is a strong point for any one of these superstars. You know, Black, Zayn, maybe Samoa Joe to get her back, but I think this reinvigoration of the OC, formerly known as a club, with AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, that with all three members holding titles, I feel like this could actually be something that was missing back in 2016. You got Luke Gallows recently bringing back the Doc Gallows face paint. Mm-hmm. You got to hope he's not bringing them back for nothing. So, and let's not forget, Gallows and Anderson, they have no prior duties at SummerSlam. They're not defending their Raw Tag Team titles, so they will be fresh on deck to cater to AJ Styles' needs. So you can expect them to be ringside. Unless they're going for one of them things where they just want to have a series of great matches, pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view, I feel like it's beneficial for Ricochet to get into something else, as I think that this OC dominance will probably have to continue for the next few months if they don't want to butcher Gallows and Anderson yet again. So, I mean, this will be one of the best matches, if not the best, on the SummerSlam card. It's pretty solid too, I feel. As to who's going to win, I think that if there was a Raw Tag Title match, I'd be predicting the other way. But since Gallows and Anderson will most likely be managing, I'm going to go with AJ Styles to attain.
Well, not yet. They haven't announced the match. So I probably don't see, much else being added to the pre-show here. And, yeah, I think, honestly, maybe it might be time for actually Ricochet to fucking move into the Universal title picture. Do you imagine if actually what I said happened about the Fiend actually slaying the Beast for real actually happens, and the Fiend becomes the Universal Championship, and then Ricochet becomes the number one contender, and they have a match? Oh, man. I would not stop going on about that shit for so long. You couldn't get my hype for something like that going. So, maybe it might be better for AJ Styles to just maybe hold on to the U.S. title. Because the last time he did, he was a face. He was feuding with Kevin Owens. There was some shenanigans involved. And yeah, but here the tables are a little different now. I mean, the club have reformed after almost Gallows and Anderson barely being used on TV for what feels like forever. And with his side boys back at his boys back together, and they're all back together. So yeah, I have to say there's probably going to be some roughshod on the U.S. title picture for that matter. So AJ Styles to win, and here's hoping Ricochet move on to the better thing. I don't expect this to be, this should be a pretty back and forth match, but AJ's probably going to retain in the end. So, they swerved us on the Raw go home, and now look. Instead of Miz versus Dolph Ziggler, it's Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. So how the hell did this happen? Well, let me explain. July 23rd episode of SmackDown, WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels was a guest on Miz TV, even though I thought he was advertising commentary to do commentary at that point, but card subject to change, not even the commentators can be safe. And yeah, anyways, the segment was interrupted by Dolph Ziggler, who insulted Michaels because that's what Dolph does. Now, Miz intervened and forced Ziggler to leave, only for Michaels to pull him back. Ziggler attempted to attack Michaels, who avoided the punch, and Ziggler instead hit Miz. Ziggler then performed a super kick on Michaels. The following week, a match between Miz and Ziggler for some reason was set up for SummerSlam, even though you think Shawn Michaels would want a piece of that after what happened, and because I'm pretty sure we want to forget about what happened at last year's that shall not be named. Anyways, during the contract signing on the August 5th episode of Raw, Miz revealed that their match would actually be on the following Raw and not SummerSlam. It was presumed that Michaels would be Ziggler's opponent, considering that would be an actual dream match, but he denied it. And then who came out? The man called Goldberg. His music hit and he made his entrance, revealing that Ziggler would indeed be facing Goldberg at SummerSlam, a man who Ziggler had also insulted in his promos against Michaels. So yeah, Goldberg signed the contract after Dolph already signed it. Yeah, and then pretty much told him, Dolph Ziggler, you're next. And then just for a little added extra insult to injury, Shawn Michaels gave Ziggler a little sweet chin music. So it's very odd how they're doing Goldberg, who, not Shawn Michaels. I mean, you already pissed away the retirement match. I mean, why not just at least try and erase... Okay, we can't erase what happened last year, but we can at least try to bury it in the deepest, darkest recesses of our memories. But yeah, looking at this match, ripped off Ziggler. I don't literally see this going any other way. I mean, what does Goldberg do best? Squashes. And yeah, who do you think's gonna win?
It's going to be another one of those matches that will get shortened due to time constraints. I do not see this going over 5 minutes, even if that. Probably a 2-minute match. The most intriguing thing to me about this match is not seeing Goldberg, do his thing, spear, jackhammer. Sure, that'll be great. But what I'm excited about is how Dolph Ziggler sells the spear. Because I remember that spear he took from Roman Reigns, and he sold it like he just got shot. Yeah, I mean, this match is, I guess, for 2 reasons. One, a legend at SummerSlam, it sells more tickets. And 2, Goldberg wanting to get that bad taste out of his mouth from Super Showdown. So you can tell. Yeah, I know it was a bad match. Yeah, so it all signs point to a squash. I mean, if you the name Goldberg being in this match, almost 99% of the time makes it a squash match. That's maybe one of the only things he's good at in wrestling. high velocity, get in there, get your finishes, and get out. So yeah, I'm going to go with a Goldberg squash.
You know, I wonder actually, why don't we go and forward back to 2016 a little bit? Because for this SummerSlam, we are in Toronto, Canada. And why do I mention that? Well, let's see, because in 2016, we're in the same, okay, not quite the same venue, but the same city where Survivor Series 2016 happened. And what happened there, for those of you who don't remember? Goldberg squashed Brock Lesnar in 1 minute and 26 seconds. Something tells me that this match here might be shorter than that. Let's see if we can really shorten it. No, let's see if we can beat fucking at Fastlane 2017 when Goldberg won the fucking Universal Championship. He squashed Kevin Owens. He squashed him like a bug in like 22 seconds. Now let's just see if we can actually beat that fucking record. Like right out of the gate. No offense. Dolph is still taunting the people. Whatever. Bell rings. Spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Good night. Goldberg to win. Alright, we have a case of legend versus future legend. Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair. So backstage during the July 23rd episode of SmackDown, Charlotte Flair voiced her displeasure that she was not scheduled to compete at SummerSlam despite not being on the card. Anyways, Flair stated that she would be there to prove that she was the greatest female superstar of all time. Can we just please strike superstar, replace it with wrestler? I mean, why do they have to do that? Oh wait, I know why. Because originally they wanted to get around the regulations. Because wrestling was actually regulated by the states. And they had to find a way to get around it. Whatever. That's another topic for another time. Anyway, the following week, WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus was a guest on Jerry Lawler's King's Court. They were interrupted by Flair, who challenged Stratus to a match at SummerSlam. After disparaging comments from Flair, Stratus accepted the challenge. So yeah, it's what I said. Legend versus future legends. And, I mean, Trish still... she could still go in the ring. And of course, Charlotte's always great in the ring as well, so... this should be hopefully a good match. Who do you think's gonna win?
This feels like a pass of the torch moment to the other match featuring Legend and Goldberg. The way this match has been built up, Stratus returning for that one more match, and it's in Canada, so it's another wrestler's home country in a singles match.
And we're directly in her city as well, too.
Oh, are we?
So,
yeah. Okay, so... And we know how Vince has that knack of making the wrestlers in their hometown lose. I don't know why. I think he's just an evil bastard. This is definitely passing off the torch. I mean, they're both blonde. Trish Stratus won in the world at the time that she was in her own prime. Charlotte, arguably one of the best, if not the best, in WWE right now. My heart says that Charlotte, after a long, I don't know. My heart says Charlotte will lose, and Trish will get a roll up, and then Charlotte will get her heat back, and then it'll just make it look like an ultra heel. But maybe the right call is to have Charlotte win here, because it, like I mentioned before, but I can't emphasize enough, it does feel like a passing of the torch moment. It feels like Charlotte is there to beat Trish and then maybe get show respect after. Depends how they want to go with that, and if they don't want to risk losing Charlotte any heat, because she is a heel right now, and I don't think they have any plans on turning her face. So, and pairing with the fact that the match featuring the other legend, Goldberg, is almost surely, it's pretty much set in stone that Goldberg's going to pick up the victory over Dolph Ziggler. So I'm going to go with Charlotte to the old guard to pass the torch to the new guard. I'm going to have Charlotte to win.
Isn't that funny? Almost feels like the old guard here going, even though, friggin', what was it? Even though at Unforgiven in 2006, Trish had her supposed last match there. Yeah, also in her hometown, no less, actually. And now we're back here all over again. And oh shit, actually, or wait a minute, not quite actually. I almost wanted to say the same arena, but or is it the same arena actually? Actually, it is. It was just going under a different name. So yeah, it wasn't that funny. Goldberg squashed there, and then he's gonna squash there. But back to this match. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much for Trish to do. I mean, she's kind of done everything already. Yeah, so yeah, I probably would just be better for Charlotte to win. Plus, she hasn't really been doing a whole lot as of late, actually. After really after Mania in general, after that triple threat, it just kind of she was more in the background, like for the most part. I mean, although she did, what was it? She may have made Becky 2-belt no longer 2-belt, but then Bayley put her in her place, and then after that, she kind of just faded a little bit into the background. So, not really doing a whole lot per se. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go with Charlotte on this one. And our last match, but certainly not least, it's Drew Gulak versus Oney Lorcan for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah, Oney Lorcan. Yeah, on the August 6th episode of 205 Live, Oney Lorcan won a six-pack challenge to earn the right to face Drew Gulak for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. It's kind of crazy, actually, too, that Oney Lorcan is actually challenging, considering he's one half of a tag team as well. He teams with Danny Burch as well, and it's kind of crazy. Or it was a feud initially, but then they were a team in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic in early 2018, but they were eliminated by Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne in the first round. Yeah, Lorcan suffered a little bit of an injury, during, yeah, what was it? Yeah, the tag match at NXT TakeOver Chicago 2. It was an orbital bone fracture, so he was injured for that time, but yeah. Anyways, then he returned. Yeah, and of course, they were pretty much teaming for a bit, although they bounced around between NXT and NXT UK. And now, actually, Lorcan took part on 205 Live, actually. He's sort of been showing up there as of late. And he was actually going to be a challenger for the Cruiserweight Championship tournament at Mania 35, but lost to Cedric Alexander in the second round. But and then he fully moved to the 205 Live brand back in March of this year. And yeah, so now he's the #1 contender as well to face Drew Gulak, which is crazy. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I think Buddy Murphy needs to move over because now that he's left 205 Live, I think Oney Lorcan is 205 Live's best kept secret. The guy is secretly unimaginably insane at wrestling. His intense, volatile style that he brings is his relentless, what he brings to the table is incredible. I'm so happy that he's got a platform on 205 Live. I'm glad there's also going to be a SummerSlam, and to I guess a lesser extent, I'm kind of happy that it's on the pre-show. I mean, it's a double-edged sword for me.
Well,
I mean, it's on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're assuming right now. You don't really get many eyes on the pre-show. People just stick around for the main card because the main card is long enough as it is without adding a pre-show. But then again, they have a full hour, to really explore their creative styles and how they can gel, and they can really get some time on the match. I mean, if you look at other options, there was Akira Tozawa, I think it was Tony Nese. I'm glad there's a fresh new face in Oney Lorcan. While I think that there's I think that there's potential in the future for Only Logan to be a champion. I don't think it's. I don't think it's time to right now. I think Drew Gulak is due another few months as champion. But it goes without saying this will be one of the best matches on the card. I'm almost certain about it. So who I think is going to win? I think it's going to be a great match. I think maybe in a pre-show, but I think that Only Lorcan is going to lose out and Drew Gulak's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, Gulak has been doing a decent job from what I've seen with the title, or what little I've seen. Yeah, he's been doing a decent job with that belt, and I think they should keep that still going. It would be nice for Only Lorcan to get a run with it at some point, but we'll probably still have to wait a little bit longer, but it should still be a pretty good match. Yeah, Drew Gulak to retain. And that's gonna do it. Looking at this card, actually, I'd say most of these matches I actually am kind of looking forward to in their own way. Maybe since the first one we talked about, Lesnar and Rollins, given all the bullshit that's been going on there. But everything else, for the most part, it at least is building up, hopefully, to something good at least. And I'm hoping that this SummerSlam kicks the hell out of last year's SummerSlam. Yeah, anyways, that's all for now. I want to thank Heathy, as always, for being here with me. Say bye, Heathy. I said say bye.
No, I said so.
Oh, you did? Oh, shit. Something went wrong.
Yeah, maybe a mic or something, but
Not
I'll see
my
you guys
mic, but sometimes this cord acts up and it doesn't pick up the audio fully. We don't have, the full premium of it, though. It's, where you can keep boosting the server and get, extra perks and, have the connections, you get the perfect best of the best. So you're all perfectly 100% clear as clear as, well, fuck it. Anyways, thanks for being here, as always, and we'll be back for AEW's All Out. Now that is also something to definitely be looking forward to. So we'll see you guys then, and thanks for watching.